All right, the new visual editor in Cursor, that's what we're going to be demonstrating today. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I like. I'm going to show you how to use it and some of the things that are a big downfall. So let's say, for instance, I'm here in Figma, and this is a UI that I designed. I've been working a lot on the new DesignCourse refactors, a lot of cool stuff coming up. Check that out for sure, DesignCourse.com. But this is one screen that I've designed, and all I'm going to do, just to give us a layout, is just print screen this, just copy this, screenshot it, and then we're going to go to Cursor, which I have a new project open already. As you can see, I have a folder that's empty. There's no files in it, so we're starting from scratch. And of course, I'm going to focus up here, and I'm going to paste in that screen. And instead of using grok code, I'm going to use something better for this part, Opus 4.5. And I'm going to say, all right, so recreate this layout, try to match it exactly, create an index.html file, and use CSS variables where necessary. Let's send that over and see what it does. Okay, so it's done. I'm going to right-click Open with Live Server, and this is what it created. Okay, so it's not perfect. It didn't get all the colors correct, but this is it's not a here nor there. We just want a layout of some sort to modify. So what we'll do is I'll just copy this URL, and we will, real quickly, just select a file, the index.html, come up here and choose Open Browser. All right, so I'm going to hit Enter, and now we have our Cursor in-browser editor that we can use. So when it comes to using the visual editor shows up when you click right up here, and you start hovering over this and you select a single element. Once you select it, you left click, you'll see two things show up. This sidebar, which at the top you have the components, which is kind of like the hierarchical navigation of the DOM elements. Everything's kind of in here. It's like the skeleton of your UI. And then down here underneath, we have our CSS tab and design tab. In the design, this is the visual editor, the visual builder part. It's very similar to, tools like Framer, Webflow, even Figma, if you're familiar with Figma, with the auto layout and stuff. And so another thing happens when you click on this. It brings this sidebar out, but also it will pass into context this right here. The selected DOM element, and if you hover over it, you can see all the information that it may pass into as context when you make an LLM call, or you make a prompt, or you submit something. So there's a caveat here. When I first used this, I was super buzzkilled, because when you make a change here visually in this visual editor, it doesn't just save it and automatically there you go. No, it has to make an LLM call. So that's frustrating because it costs tokens. I would love to see a way in which they could figure out how to make a change here visually. Like, let's say this section right here. Let's say this right here, we want this background color to be the same as the background color behind the tab, because that's how I designed it. Well, first thing I would do is click on this, and I would come all the way down here to the background section. It's called BG secondary. Now this right here is a CSS variable or a property. And if you want to be able to change it, you have to unlink it. But you can also click over here and you can choose tokens, and you can change this to other things. We'll get into that in a second. But we know that this is called BG secondary. So if we select this one now, notice how it added that second one here into the context. We scroll all the way down. There's no background for it. So we're going to click plus, and then we're going to choose token BG secondary. There we go. So now we've went ahead and we've changed the CSS property of that right there. Now, in browser, it's working. If we refresh this, it's going to lose that though, because you have to click right up here, apply. So we click apply, and now it's making an LLM call. Now, I made a mistake there because I didn't change from this slower model, the Opus 4.5, to something like grok code, which is way faster. And you can reliably use grok code because we're not asking it to do anything crazy and complex. We're just asking it to update CSS. So that's what happens here. So I'm going to switch here for future adjustments to grok code. Okay, so that's the biggest buzzkill for me. By far, the biggest buzzkill is that you can't just immediately make a change and then hit Control S to save it. It's not how it works. I believe there's a way for them to figure out how to do that eventually, because you're obviously dealing with a lot of different frameworks like React code bases. Where is this HTML at? But it is an IDE. It knows where all the files at. So I don't know. I think it'd be really cool if we could just circumvent the whole LLM necessity for using the visual editor. Okay. A couple other things. I just want to show you how you can use like the layout tools to adjust the layout as well. So let's say, for instance, for whatever reason, right here in this section, let me collapse this a little bit so we can see things more. We want to take this div element, and we want to collapse it to so that these are two rows stacked on top of each other for the drop-down menus. Okay, well, we select the parent container, and you can see right here in the component view that we have the two elements inside, these two form groups. So we come down here to layout. Now, it put those into a grid, which I thought was interesting, but we can really just change this to column. There you go. You have your adjustment. So now you can see this div element is already passed in as context, and when we hit apply, now Grok code will move a lot faster. Now notice when we hit apply, it reverts it back to what it was by default, but now once it's done, now notice how much faster that is. It's now, it's now committed to the code base and the necessary files, and it's exactly how we want it. Just to do another thing, like let's say for instance, we want these two buttons right here to be like fluid 50-50%. So this one will take up 50%, this one will take 50% of this space. Okay, so how will we do that? Well, let's select on the button itself, and let's come to dimensions. All right, we see dimensions right here, pixel value. We could just do fill container and then center. Select this element. So now we're doing multi-edits, so we can see there's multiple things we're going to be changing, and we'll change that to center as well, and also to fill container. And there we go. Hit apply. And again, it reverts back to the original state. It's thinking. And this is the part that's the buzzkill. So like if you ever use Framer, the changes you make there are instant, and they're, it's a lot better of a user experience. That's why I said if they can find a way to circumvent this, that would be so freaking much better. But yeah, you could do a lot of really cool stuff here. Like let's say we want to give this its own background color, like that's wrapping around this fictional darker version of myself. What we can do is let's go back to the background section. We'll add a fill. And for the fill, this time we'll just kind of eyeball it. So we'll grab the background color and make it slightly lighter. Okay. Maybe right around there is good. Now I also really want to make some further adjustments. Like I want to make it like a pill-shaped container. Oh, there it is, border radius. So I'm going to push that all the way up. We also need some padding on the inside of it because it looks like crap. So margin, we have padding right here. Increase that, increase this. All right, that looks actually pretty good. Let's do a little bit of a drop shadow for the hell of it, just so we can do a lot of adjustments. And we can adjust the blur, the X, Y, Z. That looks pretty good to me. So that's actually pretty bad. The drop shadow needs to reduce in opacity quite a bit. Again, it's really hard because I'm at this bright ass light. Let me hit apply now. Again, reverts back. And now we're going to see real quickly, hopefully it comes up with our new adjustments. And there we go. That's how quick and easy it is to make these adjustments. So that still doesn't look good, but nonetheless. So anyhow, this is how you use the visual editor. And once you start to understand, how CSS works and how, the flow section of the layout stuff works, you can make really quick iterations essentially based on this visual feedback tool here. So here's the thing. This is the worst it's ever going to get. It's going to get a lot better. Hopefully they can find a way to circumvent that issue where you have to, basically wait for the LLM to change the files for you. But yeah, I'm super impressed with it outside of that. And I've found that I'm starting to use it in my own workflow as well. So make sure to check out DesignCourse.com. I am in the middle of refactoring the hell out of it. We have new courses coming. We have sprint training coming, something new. Obviously, this UI that I'm doing here. So yeah, I will see you all very soon, and goodbye.